In the glamour and brilliance of the modern entertainment industry, there are few things that captivate the public imagination quite like a true, unfiltered love story that grows from the gravel of real-life struggles into the glittering heights of superstardom. The bright lights of Nashville, Tennessee have long served as the backdrop for epic tales of romance, heartbreak, and redemption, where the music carries the weight of authentic human experience and the creators behind those melodies become symbols of hope for millions of fans worldwide. In an era dominated by carefully curated public relations campaigns and manufactured personas, the audience craves something genuine, a bond that feels unbreakable because it was forged in the fires of mutual adversity and shared dreams. For years, the public watched in awe as one particular power couple redefined what it meant to love fiercely and unconditionally in the spotlight, standing shoulder to shoulder at star-studded awards ceremonies, sharing intimate glimpses of their life on social media, and building an empire rooted in transparency and raw emotional honesty. They represented the ultimate modern fairy tale, a beautiful juxtaposition of a rough-around-the-edges musical genius and a fiercely independent, glamorous media personality who seemed to complement each other in every conceivable way, proving to a skeptical world that true love could survive even the most chaotic demands of sudden, overwhelming global fame. To truly understand the magnetic pull of this remarkable relationship, one must look at the foundation upon which it was constructed, a foundation that defied all conventional Hollywood or Nashville expectations from the very beginning. This was not a romance born in the sterile environment of corporate boardrooms or exclusive celebrity mixers, but rather a profound collision of two distinct souls who recognized a shared resilience within each other during a time when the world had yet to fully acknowledge their immense potential. He was a rising force in the music industry, a man whose powerful lyrics and deeply emotional voice reflected a tumultuous past and a hard-fought journey toward personal salvation, while she was a captivating, sharp-witted media powerhouse who possessed an innate ability to connect with audiences on a deeply personal level through her own thriving platforms. Together, they created a unique cultural phenomenon, an unbreakable alliance where personal devotion and professional success walked hand in hand, inspiring a massive global community of followers who looked up to them as the absolute standard of loyalty and marital bliss. Their journey became a shared experience for their audience, with fans celebrating every milestone, every heartfelt acceptance speech, and every red carpet appearance as a victory for authentic, uncompromised love over the cynical realities of the modern entertainment business. Before we dive deeper into the sudden dramatic events that have recently sent shockwaves through their devoted community and left the entire entertainment world scrambling for answers, take a quick moment to make sure you are subscribed to our channel so you never miss an exclusive in-depth update on the stories that shape our cultural landscape. Yet, as anyone who has ever walked the tightrope of public life knows all too well, the most dazzling lights can cast the deepest shadows, and even the most seemingly stable fortresses can experience sudden, unexpected shifts beneath the surface. For months, the collective gaze of the public was fixed on the incredible trajectory of this golden couple, admiring their unwavering support for one another, their public declarations of gratitude, and their collaborative efforts to expand their family and their shared legacy. There was a palpable sense of security surrounding their union, a widespread belief among their millions of followers that no matter how intense the pressures of the industry became, this specific bond was permanent, an anchor in a sea of fleeting celebrity romances. However, the nature of modern celebrity culture dictates that the atmosphere can change in an instant, turning a peaceful celebration of shared success into a whirlwind of speculation, curiosity, and intense public scrutiny that leaves even the most dedicated observers entirely breathless. Rumors can begin as a faint whisper in the corners of internet forums before gathering momentum like a flash flood, forcing fans to look back at past statements, recent public appearances, and subtle changes in digital behavior to decipher the true state of affairs behind closed doors. The delicate balance between public openness and private reality is a challenging terrain to navigate, and when that balance begins to sway, the resulting ripples can be felt across the entire landscape of pop culture, setting the stage for a revelation that nobody truly saw coming. This brings us to a striking moment that took place just a short time ago, a moment that perfectly captures the complex, mesmerizing essence of a woman determined to maintain her poise and power in the face of a rapidly shifting personal reality. Picture the scene as a vibrant, high-energy night out on the town unfolds, filled with the laughter of close friends, the pulse of music echoing through a crowded room, and the unmistakable radiance of a media personality who refuses to let the weight of the world dim her spectacular light. Stepping out into the evening air, she commanded absolute attention in a meticulously chosen, undeniably sultry ensemble featuring a halter-styled black bralette top with a plunging neckline that flawlessly accentuated her curves, paired effortlessly with striking red and black plaid pants and classic black boots that exuded confidence and style. Her signature platinum blonde locks were parted elegantly down the middle, flowing past her shoulders in loose, graceful waves that caught the ambient light of the city streets as she posed effortlessly beside a sleek, luxury sport utility vehicle with its driver's side door invitingly open. In a series of captivating updates shared with her massive social media following, she was seen leaning gracefully out of a moving car window as it cruised through the neon-lit streets, surrounded by an inner circle of loyal companions who danced, laughed, and celebrated the unbreakable bond of sisterhood during a weekend that was anything but ordinary. It was a dazzling display of strength, glamour, and independence, a visual statement that seemed to declare to the entire world that she remained the undisputed captain of her own destiny, even as a massive, world-altering headline was preparing to completely disrupt the public's perception of her life forever. The vibrant, high-energy images of a glamorous night out on the town stood in stark, mesmerizing contrast to the massive emotional earthquake that was simultaneously registering across the entire entertainment industry. While fans were still busy admiring the stunning visuals, analyzing the fashion choices, and leaving thousands of supportive comments on the social media feed, a legal reality was quietly surfacing that would completely alter the narrative surrounding this beloved couple. The shockwave officially hit the public when it was abruptly revealed that the celebrated country music star had legally filed a petition for divorce, an action that sent immediate shockwaves through their dedicated fan base and ignited an absolute frenzy of media speculation. For nearly a decade, these two individuals had been perceived as an inseparable unit, an emblem of true partnership that had successfully navigated the harshest storms of life to build a multi-million-dollar empire and a beautiful shared legacy. According to official legal documents that quickly began circulating through major media outlets, the country artist had quietly submitted the paperwork to dissolve the marriage on May 18th, listing the formal date of separation as May 9th and citing the standard yet always heavy phrase of irreconcilable differences. This timeline meant that while the world was still celebrating their public appearances and looking up to them as the ultimate relationship goals, the couple had already made the agonizing decision to walk away from their marital union, keeping the initial stages of their deep personal transition safely hidden from the prying eyes of the global public, as the shocking details of the legal filing continued to ripple across the internet. Concrete evidence of the massive transition began to manifest in the physical world, bringing a somber note of reality to the unfolding drama. In the days following the public announcement, an undeniable sight captured the attention of onlookers and paparazzi alike near the outskirts of Nashville, Tennessee, where the couple's spectacular $6.5 million luxury estate is located. A massive professional moving truck was photographed parked directly in front of the sweeping 5-bedroom mansion that the pair had proudly purchased together, serving as a silent, powerful monument to the end of an era. Workers were observed carefully removing large boxes, personal items, and pieces of furniture from the grand property, a residence that had once been a symbol of their immense shared success and a sanctuary where they intended to build the next chapter of their lives. Although the chaotic nature of the scene made it entirely unclear which of the two estranged partners was officially packing up their life and moving out of the shared home, the sheer presence of the moving vehicle brought an intense, undeniable gravity to the situation. This was no longer just a collection of rumors floating around internet forums or a temporary disagreement between a high-profile husband and wife, but rather the tangible physical dismantling of a shared existence that had taken years of hard work, emotional investment, and mutual dedication to construct. To understand the sheer magnitude of this separation, one must look back at the incredibly complex journey these two individuals shared, a path that was marked by intense passion, profound transformations, and previous moments of deep vulnerability. The couple first crossed paths all the way back in the year 2015, establishing an initial bond that was purely platonic due to the fact that she was involved in a serious relationship with someone else at the time. However, fate had other plans, and following the natural conclusion of her previous relationship, a deep and powerful romance quickly sparked between her and the rising country music artist, leading to a whirlwind love affair that culminated in a spontaneous wedding ceremony at the famous Little White Wedding Chapel in Las Vegas. Their marriage was never traditional, and it was certainly not without its share of immense challenges, as the pair briefly separated in 2018 following a highly publicized period of infidelity on the part of the musician. In a display of rare, raw honesty that would come to define his public persona, the singer openly admitted to the world that cheating on his devoted wife was one of the single worst moments of his entire life. A devastating mistake that nearly cost him everything he held dear. Demonstrating an extraordinary capacity for forgiveness and resilience, she chose to stay by his side, helping him rebuild his life and career from the ground up. An act of loyalty that he would later credit with literally saving him from an early grave or a lifetime behind bars. The depths of their complex bond and the hidden cracks within their fortress were further brought to light during a recent, incredibly revealing episode of her highly popular media broadcast titled The Dumb Blonde Podcast. Sitting before the microphone with the trademark transparency that has earned her millions of loyal listeners, she decided to tear down the wall of privacy and give her audience the raw, unvarnished truth about the breakdown of her marriage. She revealed to a stunned audience that the ultimate catalyst for their marital troubles actually began during what should have been a beautiful, hopeful chapter of their lives, their intense 2-year journey with in vitro fertilization. With deep emotion in her voice, she candidly admitted that the grueling medical process of trying to conceive a child through modern reproductive technology was far from a beautiful experience, describing it as an incredibly taxing ordeal that completely wrecked her physical health and emotional well-being until she felt like a mere shell of her former self. The strain was not hers alone to bear, as she explained that the country singer also had to undergo rigorous medical treatments and hormone therapies after learning that he suffered from a low sperm count, creating an incredibly tense, high-pressure environment for both partners. This grueling medical journey, filled with hope, disappointment, and hormonal fluctuations, began to silently erode the very foundation of their relationship, creating an atmosphere where small misunderstandings could easily escalate into insurmountable walls. The tension that had been building beneath the surface for months finally reached a dramatic, definitive breaking point during an emotional confrontation on a day that is traditionally reserved for celebrating family and motherhood. She shared that throughout their nearly decade-long marriage, they had operated under a unique dynamic where they almost never argued, a trait that many outsiders viewed as a sign of a perfect relationship but which she now recognizes was a recipe for absolute disaster. Because they constantly avoided conflict, both partners were routinely holding their true feelings, frustrations, and anxieties deep inside, allowing resentment to simmer quietly until the pressure became completely unsustainable. On Mother's Day, the fragile peace shattered completely during an intense argument where she found herself so utterly fed up, exhausted, and emotionally drained by the ongoing weight of their struggles that she looked directly at him and told him to file the paperwork to end the marriage. Following that explosive conversation, an eerie, painful silence descended upon the household as the pair went weeks without uttering a single word to one another, creating a vast emotional chasm that could not be crossed. Despite the fact that she had been the one to bring up the concept of divorce in the heat of their final argument, she admitted to her listeners that she was still left completely blindsided when her husband actually took her at her word and officially submitted the legal documents to end their marriage. The initial shock of a sudden legal filing can easily destroy the fragile remains of even the most enduring Hollywood or Nashville romances, frequently devolving into bitter public battles played out across courtrooms and tabloid headlines. Yet, true to the entirely unconventional path they have walked from the very moment they first met, this extraordinary couple is determined to rewrite the traditional rules of celebrity separation, transforming what could have been a hostile ending into a powerful masterclass in mutual respect, emotional maturity, and enduring friendship. Addressing her audience during that deeply personal and groundbreaking episode of the Dumb Blonde podcast, she made it abundantly clear that while the marriage itself was legally coming to an end, the profound spiritual and emotional connection she shares with her estranged husband remains completely intact. She looked directly into the camera to assure her millions of worried followers that this situation is absolutely not what the public thinks it is, explicitly confirming that there was no betrayal, no infidelity, and no malicious intent from either side. Instead, she described their transition with an incredible level of grace, explaining that they had simply served their cosmic purpose for one another, guiding each other through some of the darkest chapters of their lives and into a place of ultimate healing before realizing that their paths as a married couple had naturally run their course. In a stunning revelation that left the entertainment community absolutely speechless, she disclosed that they had managed to amicably settle the entire scope of their complex divorce in a matter of just 2 or 3 weeks, an astonishing feat that she credits entirely to his incredible generosity, fairness, an unwavering desire to ensure that she is completely taken care of as she transitions into her independent future. This spirit of unprecedented cooperation and deep, abiding affection takes on an even more fascinating and deeply emotional layer when examining their ongoing shared dreams for the future, plans that completely challenge society's traditional understanding of what a divorce must look like. Despite the legal dissolution of their marriage, she shocked listeners by confirming that they still fully intend to move forward with their shared dream of bringing a new life into the world, continuing their dedicated journey to have a baby together. For the past 2 years, the couple had poured their hearts, souls, and considerable financial resources into the emotionally exhausting and physically demanding world of in vitro fertilization, navigating countless medical appointments, painful procedures, and the intense emotional roller coaster of trying to conceive. While the sheer physical and mental toll of that grueling process ultimately exposed the hidden fractures in their marital foundation, the underlying desire to become parents together and create a new life from their shared history remains completely undiminished. By choosing to continue their path toward parenthood through alternative or unconventional means, even as single individuals, they are effectively demonstrating to the world that a family does not have to fit into a rigid, conventional box to be filled with love, purpose, and absolute dedication. They have proudly embraced their status as the most unconventional couple their audience has ever encountered, proving that the end of a legal contract does not mean the end of a deep-seated spiritual alliance or a shared commitment to building a unique and loving future. The profound narrative of this amicable separation became even more beautifully solidified when the celebrated country music star himself chose to break his silence and offer his own heartfelt response to the public discourse, speaking directly to his fans from the grand stage of his life's work. During a massive high-energy concert performance in Saratoga Springs, New York, surrounded by thousands of cheering individuals who have found solace in his raw and honest lyrics, the singer took a poignant moment out of his setlist to address the raging internet storm surrounding his personal life. A video clip of this powerful moment, which quickly went viral across global social media platforms, captured the artist looking out into the crowd and boldly declaring that the internet is a frequent liar, full of fabricated drama and false narratives designed to tear people apart. He went on to offer his absolute and unconditional support for his estranged wife's recent public statements, telling his audience in no uncertain terms that she had just released an incredibly honest podcast episode and that every single word uttering from her lips was the absolute, unvarnished truth. With a voice filled with genuine emotion and deep respect, the musical icon insisted that the two of them will always remain absolute best friends, completely validating her claims that no infidelities or betrayals had taken place and showing a united front that completely disarmed the sensationalist tabloid media. To fully grasp why this specific separation matters so deeply to the fabric of modern popular culture, one must reflect upon the immense life-altering journey these two individuals have traveled together, a narrative of survival and redemption that has inspired millions of people around the globe. He has never been shy about his turbulent past, openly discussing his previous struggles with the legal system, addiction, and the profound despair that threatened to consume his youth long before he ever found his saving grace through music. The ultimate turning point in his remarkable trajectory arrived when she entered his life, bringing in fierce, protective love and an unshakable belief in his potential that allowed him to completely transform his reality and rise to the absolute pinnacle of the music industry. The depth of his eternal gratitude for her presence was famously broadcast to the entire world earlier this year during the prestigious Grammy Awards ceremony, where he accepted the award for Best Contemporary Country Album. In a deeply moving acceptance speech that brought tears to the eyes of many in attendance, he gave his beautiful wife a special shout-out, passionately stating that he would have never been able to change his life without her, and that if it were not for her unwavering support and his faith in Jesus, he would have inevitably ended up dead, in jail, or driven to absolute self-destruction. Furthermore, their shared journey extended far beyond their own romance, as she stepped into the crucial role of a dedicated maternal figure for his two children from previous relationships, 18-year-old Bailey and 9-year-old Noah, helping to nurture, protect, and guide them through the whirlwind of their father's meteoric rise to global superstardom. As the final notes of this incredibly public chapter begin to settle into history, the focus naturally shifts to the bright, independent futures that lie ahead for both of these remarkably resilient individuals as they courageously step into the unknown. With the divorce being finalized on the absolute best possible terms, she has openly confirmed that her former partner is already beginning to explore the world of dating once again, a development that she addresses not with jealousy or bitterness, but with a genuine heartfelt happiness for his continued joy and personal fulfillment. As for her own path forward, the vibrant 46-year-old media powerhouse is radiating an undeniable sense of renewed energy, confidence, and purpose as she prepares to fully immerse herself in the next grand adventure of her life. She passionately expressed to her podcast listeners that she is completely ready to have fun, to explore new horizons, and to use this major life transition as a powerful platform to inspire other women across the globe. She wants women everywhere to know that the conclusion of a long-term relationship or marriage does not signify the end of your identity, but rather a spectacular opportunity to reclaim your personal power, embrace your sensuality, and stand tall in your independent strength. Ultimate survival, mutual respect, and an unbreakable friendship are the true legacies of this remarkable modern love story, proving that even when a marriage ends, the profound love and gratitude that built it can continue to illuminate the world for years to come.